Semifinal playoff action on the Blitz. 3-seed Oak Ridge High hosting 7-seed Turlock High, and the Bulldogs coming off the biggest win in program history, a 51-50 shootout for the upset win over undefeated St. Mary's High. That lands Turlock High in its second Sac-Joaquin section semifinal appearance in program history.
Out and bound! On begin! Bang! Begin! T-R-O-J-A-N-S! No taking chances today, boys, let's go! Fight on me, fight on three, 1, 2, 3, fight! Let's go!
The Trojans bouncing back from a winless campaign last season, but they did win the Blue Banner in 2019, and they have eliminated Turlock from the playoffs twice in the past 5 years. Let's see how this matchup shakes out. Oak Ridge High, Turlock High, the Friday night highlights. Oak Ridge in rhythm from the opening drive. Quarterback Maddox Varela connecting with tired Gus Miller for 7 yards. And a few plays later, the senior quarterback finds Jay Call for 15 yards and a first down. And in no time at all, the Trojans hit the end zone. That's a 35-yard touchdown pass to Caleb Edwards, the sophomore tight end, going over the top in a clear mismatch there. Turlock with the ball now, and what will the Bulldogs do? Cole Gilbert, record-holding quarterback for Turlock. That's an 8-yard rush. And that sets up 3rd and 2, and a 19-yard connection from Gilbert to Peter Mello. Things are looking pretty good right now, but a turn for Turlock in the form of an interception. Gilbert picked off, and that gives the ball right back to Mad Maddox, and he continues to slay the Turlock secondary. 11 yards to Gavin Malloy. But now they're going to hit the run game with Hall 12 yards up the middle. And once again, another 6-play drive ends with a touchdown. Sutton reels in the 36-yard touchdown pass. And in 12 plays, Oak Ridge is up by 2 touchdowns. A Turlock 3-and-out puts the ball back in Varela's hands, and he tosses it to Sebastian Sutton, 10 yards and a first down, and that's followed by back-to-back first downs by Jay Call. That first one was 8 yards, and this one is good for 13 yards, but Turlock would hold them to a field goal. Nichols, 34 yards for the 3 points, and so I guess that's a sign of improvement for the Turlock defense. As for the offense, they notched 3 consecutive 4-and-outs, during which time Oak Ridge played a game of almost maybe. That looked like a 21-yard touchdown pass, but the refs call it incomplete, and a 43-yard field goal attempt does not make it to the uprights. And on Oak Ridge's next possession, another big-time play will not make it into the record books. Jaden Anderson with a halfback pass to Sutton, illegal man downfield. The flag calls it back. And finally, Turlock notches a highlight. Berea rolls out and he's intercepted by Jeremiah Bertolato. And that sets up the best drive so far from Turlock's offense. And quarterback Cole Gilbert is going to show off his arm just a little bit. He gets out of the pocket and he fires the ball to Jeremiah Bertolato, 32 yards for the first down. And on 2nd and 8, a couple plays later, Peter Mello picks up 4 yards. Clearing the way for JT Foreman and a 9-yard run. The ball seemingly comes out and is recovered by Gavin Malloy, but the refs call it down by contact. And that leads to a trick play. Handoff to Foreman, reverse to Johnson, lateral to Gilbert. -1 yard doesn't work. And so on 3rd and goal, Cole Gilbert targets Mello, but he can't hold on. I blame the cold. That sets up a field goal attempt that turns out to be a fake, that turns out to be a flag, and that's the half. Now, before we get into the second half, let's recognize our sponsor, Realtor Michael Rocha. Are you a buyer looking for your perfect home? Or are you a seller looking for top dollar for your home? No matter what your goals are, if you're looking to win in this real estate market, Michael Rocha is the realtor for you. So contact Michael Rocha today at 209-485-5228. You can also find him on Facebook and on Instagram. Could have been a 10-point game, but Turlock can't concern themselves with that right now. Instead, they're looking for first downs, and they get one. 9-yard pass to Andrew Johnson. But on 3rd and 2, Gilbert's hit hard. Connor Dassman forces the fumble. Christian Guerrero jumps on it, but it leads to a punt, and Gilbert was shaken up on that play. Trojans take over on the 40, and Austin Norris with an 11-yard reception, tack on 15 yards for the late hit. And then Norris once again with a 10-yard run. That leads to a touchdown by Hall, and this is impressive. He bounces off 2 defenders and stretches out to get the touchdown by the hair of his chinny chin chin. And I want to see that play again and again. Take it back, it's the play of the game. And yes, a pass or two earlier in the game could have been the play of the game, but I want to give props to the running back taking on 2 defenders and stretching out for the touchdown. Gotta give that kid his flowers. It's now 24-0 with about 7 minutes left in the third quarter, and Turlock is going to need a miracle. Gilbert, he finds Bertolato for a 13-yard pass on the sideline, and on 2nd and 12, the quarterback rolls to his left and heaves the ball deep downfield, 44 yards to Johnson. But this drive would end with an incomplete pass, a turnover on downs. Turlock can't get into the end zone, and Oak Ridge, one more take back, could have been a touchdown, but it's not. Regardless, the Trojans are going to the D1 championship.
Till the hills we fly, hail to the alma mater, hail to Oak Ridge High! Yeah!
Defense got a shutout. That's huge that a team just put up 51 points and a nail biter. We thought we have a great defense. I knew it, but I didn't think we were going to get a shutout. I mean, it's the best present for a quarterback is just a great defense, and they got my back. I mean, threw a pick second quarter of the game, and they gave me the ball right back, and we scored. And I'm proud of my defense and then offense. We were rolling. I got probably 250 yards and 3 touchdowns called back on turnovers, but we'll figure it out. We'll get in the film room, and we'll be good. But I'm just so proud of my team. I mean, all year we knew we were a special team, but to know we're going to Sac City and playing sections next week is great. We all thought we were playing St. Mary's, get in the locker room, start live streaming it with all the boys, and it was insane. We saw Turlock score, get the 2-point, went crazy, and then we saw that last second St. Mary's picks or interception. I've never heard people yell louder. We knew we were going to have another home game, and it was amazing. Sebson, I mean, he was injured last year, but he's the best football player I've ever played with in my life. He's a D1 receiver, and he shows every week, and with one-handed grabs, everything. He just makes everything look effortless, and he's the hardest worker I know. Me and him grinded a lot over the offseason, and he's just a great player. I mean, we went 3-7 last year. It's uncharacteristic by Oak Ridge to go 3-7. We just don't do that. And to the fact that we completely flipped it around, and now we're 10-2, and we're going to a section championship is just insane. I mean, we all believed in it, but we knew it was going to be a process, it was going to be a journey, but we all believed in each other.
What do you expect from Folsom?
They're a hell of a team. I mean, they're obviously our rivals are down the hill, but we know them pretty well. We played earlier this season, and we had a lot of dudes injured, but we're coming. They got to be ready. I couldn't be prouder of the team. I love my coaches. My coaches got me right. I mean, the steps I've taken, the steps the line has taken from last year to this year is just insane. I was sitting back there all day, and I could read a book in the pocket. It was great. So I love my line coach, love my quarterback coach. We're all family. I mean, I know every football team says they're a family, but I really believe all of them are my brothers. My football coaches are my brothers. I don't care.
Congrats to the Trojans, who are headed to Sac City College to face top-seeded Folsom, a league foe. These 2 teams played September 30th, and Folsom beat Oak Ridge 42-13. Now, typically around this time, I would list off the stats, but unfortunately, I do not have the stats for Oak Ridge. Nonetheless, their quarterback, Maddox Varela, he balled out. And that defense was a hard-nosed unit. They really made Turlock's offense struggle, particularly when it came to Cole Gilbert, the quarterback who last week had a hat trick and compiled almost 500 yards of offense, was held to only 10 completions of 26 for 138 passing yards and 11 rushing yards. Definitely a far cry from last week's performance. So as reporter Joe Cortez would say, the Cinderella season for Turlock is over. But what a season it was. First, Cole Gilbert nabs the single-season passing record. Then, Turlock shuts out Edison before upsetting St. Mary's. So even though they're not in the championship, one hell of a season for James Peterson and his Bulldogs. As for Oak Ridge, they're entering the D1 championship game with a record of 10-2. Great turnaround from last season's effort. Elsewhere in the SJS, we have teams that we covered this season in the championship game. Division 2 will see Manteca face Granite Bay. Division 5 will see Escalon face Sonora. Division 6 will see Houston face Somerville. and Division 7 will see Ripon Christian face Woodland Christian. So now the question remains, which championship game will the Blitz cover next week? If you're a Cougar from Escalon High, you better be hyped because the Blitz will be at St. Mary's High to cover Escalon versus Sonora. And the Cougars are looking for their third consecutive blue banner. We covered Escalon just 1 week ago when they upset league rival Hillmar High, and we were there last season when they beat Hillmar for the D5 blue banner. So we'll see if history can repeat itself next week. You can find that episode at turlockjournal.com. You can also find us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter if you follow at Turlock Journal. So until next week, when we bring you a championship showdown, I'm Frankie Tovar. Thank you for watching the Blitz.